So how are you doing? Are you struggling with feeling divided? Or maybe you're having a sense that you're undivided. If you're divided, maybe life's getting to you because there's so many things going on and you feel stressed and worried and the tension of everything is just getting to you. And maybe you feel alone. And if you're undivided, maybe you have this clear focus of where you're going, what you're doing. You're not doing it alone. You're not separated, and you're not afraid. You've probably heard of the phrase divide and conquer. You know, in war times, it's a strategy that's used to divide the defenses of the enemy and to create vulnerability. And Satan uses this tactic against you if you're a follower of Jesus, because he wants to divide and conquer. And he knows that a disunified church, a church that's broken down and divided, is going to be weak. So I want to ask you, what is unity? We're in the series called Undivided, but what would you say is unity? And unfortunately, people think unity means sameness. Everybody's a clone, but this isn't true. Unity is not uniformity. Instead, unity can be a group of people, and this is what I think it is. It's a group of people who share a common purpose, a common vision, or a common direction. It's not about being exactly the same. It's about using your unique gifts together to create a movement toward the same goal. If you think about it, in football, it's easy really to see. There are different positions, different roles, and different skills needed in all those places. But the team and all the players are moving toward the end zone because their goal is the same. So I guess the question is, how'd your team do this week? I guess that could be football or it could be basketball these days. But there's a guy named Paul. He's in jail because of his faith, and he tells us how to live. And he talks about this in Ephesians 4, 1-6. He says, in the light of all this, here's what I want you to do. While I'm locked up here, a prisoner for the master, I want you to get out there and walk. And better yet, run on the road God called you to travel. I don't want any of you sitting around on your hands. I don't want anyone strolling off down the path that goes nowhere. And do this with humility and discipline, not in fits and starts, but steadily pouring yourselves out for each other in acts of love, alert at noticing differences and quick at mending fences. You were all called to travel on the same road and in the same direction. So stay together, both outwardly and inwardly. That's so important. You have one master, one faith, one baptism, one God, and one Father of all, who rules over all, works through all, and is present in all. Everything you are and think and do is permeated with oneness. Your differences have really always been part of God's plan. All of our differences are. And God's plan includes unity, and his plan center is Jesus. Through Christ, divided groups get reconciled. They get joined against all odds into one body and one family and one kingdom with one mission. The church is the place where all distinctions should really no longer cause any division. So when you feel tension and division, disunity, discomfort, or resistance, remember your goal is to make Jesus famous through your life, through your story. Keep him in the center. Paul continues in verse 13 in this chapter 4 of Ephesians. He says, until you reach the unity of faith and the knowledge of God's Son, God's goal is for you to become mature adults, to be fully grown, measured by the standard of the fullness of Christ. So if you're thinking about how to measure your life, look at Jesus and the fullness of his life. And today, God, we just want to ask you to help us to grow up, make us mature, help us to be strong, unify your church through a power that's bigger and stronger than any of us, and through your power who unifies us. Not because we're all clones, not because we're all exactly the same, but that because you made us in your image, God, and through our differences together, we're powerful to create a movement that you've made us for, God, and help us to do that. So I hope you guys will continue. Check out the Undivided series at Journeys Crossing. I think it'll help you out. And I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great week.